Greg Harris uploaded a GoPro video of himself riding his ATV on an unnamed trail. For the first few seconds, the footage shows pretty much exactly what you'd expect from this kind of upload. But in the blink of an eye, something extremely disturbing interrupts Greg's ATV ride. If you didn't catch it, someone had set up a metal wire between the two trees, which got caught in the uploader's helmet and forced him to stop. It's pretty disturbing to think that if Greg hadn't been so lucky, he could have been decapitated by the wire. Fortunately, as mentioned in the video description, his speed along with the wire hitting his helmet instead of his neck caused it to break as he passed through it. It might seem shocking that anyone would even think of doing something as incredibly evil as setting up a lethal booby trap in the middle of an ATV trail. But sadly, it's actually pretty common in the dirt bike and ATV community. Sometimes these wires are set up by people trying to keep bikers off their property. Others are set up by psychos who get irritated by the noise and decide to use violence to fix the issue. And the rest are set up by people who are just messed up in the head and want to bring harm to others for no reason. This is just one of those videos where if the wire was set up just slightly lower, the accident could have easily been fatal.
A security guard is doing rounds at a hotel when she suddenly comes to a stop after encountering something very disturbing. This video took place in 2019 and was recently shared by a friend of the security guard shown in the clip. At first, the friend who posted this wasn't sure if sharing this online would be a good idea. What was captured, according to them, is something that the hotel would rather keep under wraps. Perhaps to avoid reminding people of a terrible incident that occurred many years ago. In 1986, this exact hotel, which was formerly called the DuPont Plaza, had mysteriously caught fire, resulting in many lives being lost. Guests had no choice but to leap off their balconies as the flames had engulfed the whole building. The sight of this was hard to bear, to say the least. But fast forward to 2019, and the hotel is now rebranded and remodeled under a different company. However, from time to time, strange things would happen here. Hotel guests would report supposed paranormal experiences and blame the fire incident that occurred years ago to explain this. The following video is a prime example of what guests experience while being here. It's late at night when apparently something pulls the security guard's hair. Take a look. Inside a small retail store, an employee working by himself decides to tidy up a few items on display. It was like any other workday at the shop. Johann Salazar would clock in and start the shift by organizing stock. But as he does his job, he all of a sudden runs to the back of the store, completely out of breath and visibly shaking. Johann, in his own words, had felt something heavy drop on his shoulders. Not sure what it was that was on his back, he looks at the security camera recording at this time and sees something that terrifies him beyond belief. This is what he saw. Dee promptly takes out her phone after noticing something down the road. It had caught her attention, considering that no other cars were on the road. It was just her and the driver alone on this highway when this was spotted. Now this video takes place in Arenas Valley, New Mexico, where it seems that others have encountered similar experiences. Ghost sightings are nothing new to those who live around here, but this, as viewers believe, may just be the clearest evidence of something paranormal. Although it's hard to say as to what this was, you can see that something is moving before somehow vanishing. It's a bit faint, but something is there, until it isn't. Now unfortunately not much info is given on this clip, except that it took place in New Mexico. Yet still, as many have commented, this footage is pretty creepy. Just who, or even what, was seen on camera?
¿Qué? ¿Quién?
Late one night, while recording a video of herself singing for her mum, she hears what sounds like knocking at the door and decides to record it. This is what she caught.
¿Quién? ¿Quién anda ahí?
As she approaches the door, a creepy dark hand can be seen through the glass panel above. Whatever this thing is began to visit her more frequently, and creepy things started happening inside her house. Late one night while trying to sleep, she hears it once again. Watch closely.
Mami, te grabo este video porque están tocando constantemente la puerta. Y están pasando cosas que no son normales. ¿Qué? ¿Quién?
By a church when he sees something running around the roof. A man in Illinois was walking by the St. Paul's Baptist Church late at night when he notices something's moving on top of the roof.
What the fuck is that? Ain't shit up there. Ain't shit up there. Fuck is that? Alright. Hey, I'm black. I'm gonna get the fuck up out of here.
Just like a horror movie, this Jeepers Creepers-like figure is seen moving, running around the roof. But as the man looks above, nothing seems to be there. Locals have experienced many ghostly sightings around the St. Paul's Church. So could this shadowy entity be something related to the paranormal? Or is it simply something else? Let me know what you think. She was walking her dog in the Appalachia when she hears this. A horrifying video was uploaded by a woman named Tyla while she's playing with her dog in her recent trip to the Appalachian Mountains. Her dog suddenly starts barking as something horrifying is captured on camera.
Boss? Was that Dalmatian? Okay. Yeah, because what is that? Let's go inside.
From within the woods, the feral screams of a person can be heard, causing an unusual quietness to the woods, as well as agitating her dog. Tyla begins to make her way inside, as she too feels they shouldn't be out there any longer. Like many dark secrets of Appalachia, whatever was screaming in the woods that night remains a mystery, as Tyla and her dog remain in.
This dude through the mirror, right? And his face is moving, but look at that, his face just moved, but the guy in the mirror staying the same. Yo, the Matrix is broken.
A man named Daniel and his mum have a hobby of collecting all sorts of valuable items, some of which are exclusives that can't be obtained anywhere else. Which sounds fun at first, but after seeing the place it will definitely give you the creeps. Even Daniel himself can't shake this strange feeling he gets from this specific dollhouse. Take a look.
Okay, so the other thing that really creeps me out, that I do not like, but I will show you guys, is in my sister's old room, or I guess still room. Dollhouse. I don't know how to explain it. The only thing I can say that has happened with it is sometimes when I walk by, or like I go, the bathroom's back there, and I walk through and I hear like tapping coming from this room. It's like
Daniel believes this odd tapping noise is coming from somewhere within the dollhouse. As a result, he has set up a security camera to watch the dollhouse at all times to see if it captures any odd occurrences. And that's when he recorded this. As you can hear, there is clearly some sort of tapping noises coming from this room, but just from this static camera footage alone, we aren't able to tell if it's coming from the dollhouse or not. However, one day when he is walking by the room, he hears something and begins to record.
guys. Do you hear that? Those are the tapping noises I was talking about. Where is this coming from? It's like knocking at the door. Hello?
Something seems to be making knocking sounds around the dollhouse and even knocking in threes on one of the small bathroom doors of the house. But nothing would be found that could explain this phenomenon to Daniel. Just like other situations when you shouldn't open a knocking door when there is nobody there, especially when it knocks in threes. It seems the same thing applies here because after Daniel opens the tiny door in the dollhouse, the activity from here onwards would increase exponentially. And the following day, Daniel would see something completely unnerving. As you can see, some of the figurines inside the dollhouse have begun to move on their own. After seeing this, Daniel automatically assumed that the dollhouse must be cursed, and he should just get rid of it. But that's just the beginning of the intensifying activity, and it seems that it's no longer just a dollhouse, because a few nights later Daniel would be woken up around 2:30 a.m. to something that would leave him in the depths of despair. Just leading up to 3 a.m. and knocking in threes can now be heard coming from the front door of the house. But clearly there is nobody there. This left Daniel terrified, and he stated that when he turned around he was sure he saw the doll blink. After opening the door to knocking yet again, things would get even worse. Now everybody told Daniel to get rid of the dollhouse, but unfortunately his mum wouldn't allow it, since it's an expensive set. So as a compromise, he relocates it into the garage and once again sets up his security camera to see if the noise reoccurs within the dollhouse. And of course, a few days later, this happened. As you can hear, the tapping noise has returned, but now sounds more like banging. And if you didn't notice, the doll seems to blink and move its eyes. Now if that wasn't terrifying enough at this current point in time, Daniel would be away at work, and almost simultaneously to this event, his mum would experience something horrifying while watching TV. The sound of footsteps suddenly approaching from the hallway startles Daniel's mum, and as she looks around for answers, she finds none.